everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name is Josh. Yes, it's the second video of the day, and the reason I did it is because I'm like, I want to do some other videos. I want to talk about something that's going on in the world right now. Aliens. Also, I forgot to spin the wheel this morning. So I got to spin the wheel. Someone's got to win a prize, and we're going to talk about aliens.
Yeah, baby.
Look at Gus. Gus just looking at me like, oh my God. Aaron Feely. You win a prize. Reach out to Josh at thedadchallengepodcast.com with shirt size and your address, and I'll hook you up. We're not alone. Let's talk about it. Before I get started, everybody, I need to ask you a question. Do you believe in aliens? Now, I didn't believe in aliens as a kid. I was more of a cynical kid and everything else. And I never forgot this one thing my mother said. She said a bunch of things in my life I have never forgotten. Good lessons and bad. But some of the good things she said are really good. And so one of the stories my mom told me is when she kind of like, I don't know if you heard my life story, but she had divorced my stepfather. And this is where our lives were thrown into chaos. And she was hanging out with bikers and like Hell's Angels. Not just your day, not just your old man bikers on the Indians, but on you know what I mean? On Harleys, like the gang. Anyway, she had said she'd come home one night and she's like, Josh, I have to tell you a story. And she said her and her friend saw this big red orb hover over Lake Ontario. And she's like, I've never seen anything like it. And she believed it. And my mom isn't someone who is a pathological liar. My mother was absolutely brutally honest with everybody, everywhere, all the time. Right? She was one of those people who's like, I'm just going to tell you how it is. It's like the East Coast attitude, okay? It's like, I'm just going to tell you how it is. I don't give a shit what you think. That's what my mom was like, and that's kind of what I'm like. But I'll never forget that story. And then I said, Mom, there's no such a thing as aliens. And you know what she said to me? She said, you'd have to be some kind of selfish to think we live in a galaxy, that if you look out into space, that we are the only intelligent life ever. And I'm thinking, and it always stuck with me. Right? I don't know if I still believe in aliens or not, but apparently we're going to find out. And so she said that. But that has always stuck with me. You've got to be selfish to think that we are the only intelligent life in a galaxy made up of billions, if not trillions, of planets. Like, just in the math alone, there's likely millions of planets just like Earth that could sustain life, that have life on them. Because if there are trillions out there, 1 in a trillion is a pretty big number, right? So it likely is. There are stars that have planets that rotate around those stars the same distance Earth is around the sun, so they're probably sustaining life. Just saying. There are aliens. My mom told me, so it's true. But now we're saying we got some proof of it. I heard a podcast, who was it that said it? I don't know what it was, but they've been saying this for a couple of days. That, they're showing you videos of aliens out there, and I'll show you a couple today of these things making the moves and stuff. And so, yes, there are aliens. But let's talk about it a little bit, and we use Twitter for that.
You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Miss Mace? She's kind of fly, not gonna lie. She's real pretty.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Why? I don't understand. Why are certain members of the government allowed to know shit that regular people aren't? Like, I can understand, when it comes to, keeping private documents in your house, crucial secrets that governments keep for, wars and what they know about other leaders and shit. I get that. I understand keeping certain secrets so that, you don't send so you don't start wars. I get that. But who cares? It's aliens. Why do we give a shit? It's not going to be like the movie with Will Smith. What's that one in the 90s that was a huge hit? Oh, my gosh. What was it? Independence Day. If aliens show up, we're going to panic anyway. Why not just tell us it exists? We're not going to panic. We'd be like, that's cool. I never understood this. Why keep this type of information away from people? We are a species of people who love to discover and science and everything else. Why keep this a secret? Why? Is there alien technology in there that we should not know about? And if so, why haven't you built some shit yet?
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Boom! That answer is yes. We have alien bodies on our planet right now. Okay.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this
So, okay, sorry.
documentary evidence, is video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
Eyewitness.
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Okay, so holy shit, everybody! We literally have in possession alien bodies. So why tell us now? What is the big deal? And here's the thing. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, everybody. It's Tinfoil Hat Thursday. Okay? It's because of everything that is happening right now within government's wars, breakdowns of like the Biden family, breakdowns of what Trump's doing. He's going to go to jail. There's so much they want you to, they're just, if does it not feel like, everybody? And again, tinfoil hat, I can sparse it. Okay? I know this is a tinfoil hat conspiracy, that they're just bombarding us with absolutely everything because something big is coming. Right? And they don't want you to focus on it. Something is happening to distract us from something, and I don't know what it is. Because it's aliens. That's cool. Like, I know that I've been talking to people who don't think that the moon landing was real, that was faked. I'm kind of on the fence about it, considering what we know about technology. Also, there's been some questions about these conspiracy theorists that are hard to answer, like, why haven't we been back? And how did they get these shots and all this? And maybe one day we'll take a look at the conspiracy and try to convince ourselves of its truth, because that's kind of fun about conspiracies, right? And so you have to ask yourself a question. Why didn't we go back to Mars? Blah, blah, blah. Why didn't we go back to the moon? All these kinds of things. Good. These are honest questions from conspiracy theories. Now, I always ask the question about, then what is the end game of a conspiracy, right? If there are con lines being flown in the air and dropping shit on people, the end game is for population control. Correct? I think a lot of people's answer to one world government and why they do what they do is population control, because a lot of people believe we are out of control with population and we cannot sustain the growth in population, right? I disagree. It is what it is. Okay. I have different views just based on my faith and everything else. But so I always ask the question when someone gives me a conspiracy theory, like flat earth, right? Flat earth and the moon. What's the end game for being a flat earther? Right? And so some people will tell me it's because NASA is an organization where they launder trillions of dollars through. And so, but NASA, and if you proved NASA wrong or they didn't do these things, then it would expose this money corruption scheme. That's basically the end game of flat earthers, right? Because if the earth was flat, who cares? Why does it matter if it's flat around? I always ask, what does it matter? Okay, it's flat around, who cares? But some people are like, because you're being lied to. And I understand that too. But the earth is round, if everybody's wondering. It's round, just in case. And so, but you always have to ask the question, the end game. But in most conspiracies, okay, it is almost impossible for these really super high-level conspiracies to be truthful because of the whistleblowers that come forward, like this guy, or the whistleblower that's coming forward about the IRS and Hunter Biden, and the whistleblowers that come forward everywhere. There's always a whistleblower somewhere. And if you know, and often those whistleblowers are killed. Why do we know about aliens, but we know nothing about the Epstein list, right? Why? That's a conspiracy, okay? Epstein didn't kill himself in a prison cell. We all know that, okay? But we now know more about aliens than we know about Epstein. So there are conspiracies that have come true. There are conspiracies that exist, but it's really hard to keep a conspiracy because eventually as humans, somebody is going to have a change of heart. They're going to be like, I can't keep the secret anymore. And they're going to have to come out forward. So all these big, giant, massive conspiracies, unless they've killed all the potential whistleblowers, it's hard to believe them. But this isn't a conspiracy anymore, everybody. If the government is sitting there telling you in front of Congress that they're in possession of an alien spacecraft and bodies, there's no way they would, well, I say that. There is a way they'd lie about it, but why lie about it, right? Because and all this does is prove to you that if we were told about this from the beginning, that we really wouldn't have panicked. Because nobody cares right now. Literally no one cares that we have, that's cool, aliens, awesome. When's the asteroid coming? Because of these NPC videos. We'll do a whole video on that. I mean, it's odd that we always, and I made a tweet about this, but it's odd we always say like, we've got to save the world for future generations when these are our future generations.
Fire or too hot. Ice cream. Ice cream. Rose smells so good. Rose smells so good. Pa, 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 pa.
For you. Take your cash, take your kilo. Yes, yes, yes. Take your audience. Oh, take it, Samantha. This is so...
Okay, so let's reconsider. Because if the future generations are going to be worse, then maybe we don't deserve this Earth. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for the asteroid. So that's to say, we're going to scroll down a little bit more. So here's the conspiracy. A lot of people will say this. So Epstein Island 2 must be happening right now to cause them to start using aliens as a new psyop. If you don't know what a psyop is, it's when the government is doing a psychological operation on the population to distract. So a psychological operation would be something like a lot of people think the COVID, right? And the fact that they mass shut down the world and masked people and got them to take a vaccination that actually proved to be not as effective as they said it was, right? Let's just keep it there, right? And so psyops are things that, like, if you like, there are entities, scientific entities and psychological entities that want to do things to populations so that they can see how those populations react. Right? Psyops are a real thing, but most people that say something is a psyop, it's not a psyop, right? So, but you see psyop a lot of times, and that's very conspiratorial. And everybody remembers the video of this lady on the plane who said, I can't be on this plane anymore, the person with the lizard eyes.
Say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can fucking die with them or not. I'm not going to.
They think that was aliens. This woman has never been heard from again, as far as I'm aware. Nobody knows who she is. She's not here anymore. There's some shit going on, is what I'm saying. Big time. But also you have to be very wary, because if big stuff's going on right now, we're being bombarded with all these types of things, that means something actually is going on, though. That's completely separate from all this. And after watching Oppenheimer, I'll let you guess what's probably going to happen soon, right? Scary. This is doom scrolling at its finest. This is a big one too, growing up with aliens, because I grew up in church, right? I grew up going to church. And a lot of people think this tweet says, if aliens were proven real, then Christianity would be proven fake. Which is bullshit. No, it wouldn't. Why does aliens prove the fakeness of God, a creator of the universe? Right? God just didn't create this globe, if you believe that, if you believe in creation, right? God created the universe. So if there is life everywhere else out there in the universe, doesn't mean God didn't create it. So why would it disprove Christianity? Because a lot of people would be like, well, it's not in the Bible that there's aliens. Well, this is our text for this, if you believe that. I'm not saying I'm not saying a lot of people do. I'm just saying that's the aliens being proved on Earth does not disprove the theory of God as a creator. It doesn't. Absolutely. Actually, probably proves otherwise. Intelligent life is created. And Elon Musk's famous tweet, I'm not saying there's aliens, but there are probably some aliens. But let's be real for this for a second. If they are telling the truth, and I mean, getting in front of Congress and lying, you can go to jail for that, by the way. If there is aliens, though, if this is true, let's talk about it as if this was true, then we have some kind of like material or substrate that doesn't exist on planet Earth, right? We probably, I don't know if they have weaponry. I don't know. I don't think we take weaponry when we go into space for exploration. So I doubt they're like, most people think aliens are coming to Earth and they're going to take over the Earth. Maybe they're just doing a scouting mission or whatever the case may be because they want to pillage our planet for everything. But would we do that? Would we go to another intelligent life planet and steal everything? Or would we want to go to make connections and contact and see what's going on and say, what's up? High five. We got this. We've got Nutella, right? We got Uncrustables and shit. What do you guys have? Let's do some tradesies. Like maybe that's everywhere, right? Most people have been sci-fied into thinking that, you know, Darth Vader is going to come and explode planets. That's not the case. It's probably most likely that we're all kind of the same, just exploring and looking and saying hi, right? That's what I want to think. I don't want to think we're going to get destroyed. Because where Hollywood is taking it, that's what we all believe, right? That's crazy. Do you guys remember that there's a 1950s radio television show that was a prank? According to Wikipedia, it was called The War of the Worlds 1938 radio drama. The War of the Worlds was a Halloween episode in the radio series The Mercury Theater in the Air, directed and narrated by Orson Welles, an adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel The War of the Worlds, that was performed and broadcast live at 8 p.m. ET on October 30th, 1938, over the CBS radio network. The episode is famous for inciting a panic by convincing some members of the listening audience that a Martian invasion was taking place. Though the scale of panic is disputed, as the program has relatively few listeners. So people, like, they go back to that and say this is the panic. That's where they think they're going to panic if they tell us about aliens. So again, it comes back to this. We're not panicking now. Nobody seems to care, which is crazy to me, right? And so what's the reason for not telling us when you found all these things? Why all the secrecy? Unless there is some kind of element or something that you have possession of that you don't want other governments to know about. And so that's my conspiracy. The aliens have been here for a very long time. They're coming to say hi, do some tradesies, and we blew them up or some shit, right? Or their bodies aren't compatible with our atmosphere or something. But that to me, as a non-scientist person who knows nothing about any of this shit, doesn't make any sense. Because they're likely coming from a planet that likely is very similar to Earth, because Earth sustains life. And the distance between us and the sun is the reason that it creates life. So everybody who comes from a planet that sustains life likely is like that. You know, does that make sense? Am I wrong about that? People out there who know biology and science and all that shit, am I way off on that? But that seems like if there are trillions of planets, there are probably thousands of planets like ours in that exact distance between their sun that would create life similar to the life we have here, right? Am I wrong? I don't think it's going to be aliens with big eyes and like this. It's probably going to look like us. That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping. Anyway, U.S. military drone captures video of orb-like object. Watch this. Like, what is that? Where'd it go? Like, it's just floating there, dudes. Look at this thing. It looks like maybe Messi kicked a soccer ball. That's what it could be. But that's just some ball that got kicked, guys. And that's not a drone. It is an orb. Now, could it be faked? I don't know. Especially with the emergence of AI technology, everything now has to be taken with a grain of salt, because AI has been around for a lot more years than we've had access to it, okay? 10 years it's been in development or more, right? The shit that we have now is the shit that they developed years ago that they're finally ready to release. So take everything with a grain of salt and let's see it with your own eyes. Here's declassified Pentagon videos.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh, dude.
What is that, man? Is it a bug? Is there a bug on your camera? Nobody asked that. Footage shows unidentified flag at high speeds through Earth's atmosphere. Again, what is that? And it's never like a clear. That orb one, the first one we saw, that's pretty clear. But it's like this. That literally could be anything. Someone wiped their snot on the camera on the airplane. Like, get me a clearer picture. We have the technology. My iPhone can zoom into like someone's nostril hairs. Get better tech. The declassification is meant to clear up any misconceptions above. We don't have misconceptions. We have no information. Misconceptions. Is the misconception that aliens are real and now you're like, yep, they are. So were you trying to prove that they weren't by releasing videos of them being real? Okay. Look at that. What is that? See, that one looks, again, it's, in my opinion, it's not going to be like orb-like like this. It's not going to be like what we think, like a circle with a top. It's not going to look like Saturn. Maybe it is, I don't know. But I'm thinking, if planets are like our planet, then why are we just assuming people are just coming to pillage? Oh, do you think Elon Musk wants to go to Mars so that he could pillage it? Because if that's the case, then maybe that's it. Because I heard somewhere that Elon Musk that he could set giant H-bombs or some kind of massive bombs at the polar opposite ends of Mars, and then it would like create an atmosphere. So I want to just believe we're not going to be destroyed by aliens. Is that okay with you guys? Aliens exist, folks, according to the U.S. government. They're not going to lie to you in front of Congress because they could go to jail. So clearly something big's about to happen. Start prepping. That's all I'm saying to you guys. Start getting your Chef Boyardee and water and rice. Get ready. They're releasing something kept secret for like 70, 80 years because something else is bigger. That's all I'm saying. Tinfoil hat off. Everybody take a deep breath. Be safe out there, okay? If you see an alien, you tell me first so we can talk about it. Tell me in the comments below if you guys ever had a weird encounter with something that you can't explain. I'll believe you because now we know it's real, right? A ghost, maybe? Like Love Meg talked about the ghost at the top of the stairs on the landing. Have you ever had a weird encounter that you can't explain? The other day I was like, in the backyard, I was like, oh, look at the lights, and I took a picture, and like, oh, that's Starlink. So people are mistaking that for Starlink. But I've never had an encounter where I saw something, I was like, what is that? Although when I was young, in one time. I think I said this before. Or I found a He-Man sword, which He-Man was my favorite thing growing up, in the dumpster, because we used to dumpster dive all the time, which is super unsanitary. Don't do it. Don't let your kids go into dumpsters to look for shit, okay? But I found a He-Man sword that was split. You know, they used to make swords and they just had two parts they glue together, but it was split. So someone threw it. I'm like, this is a He-Man sword. This sword never glowed before, right? It looked like glowing material, but I had it for like, I don't know, 6 months in my room. One day I woke up to go pee. That shit was glowing. And glowier than I've ever seen anything glow before. Okay, I don't know what it was. Could have just been my imagination, but that shit was glowing. I'll never forget it. But let me know about your strange encounter in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being amazing. Thanks for laughing and having a good time with me, and thanks for talking about conspiracies with me, because they're fun. Even though most of them are not true, it's fun to talk about, right? It's fun to like say what if. It's like good dinner conversation. What if? But if there are people in your life who are like, it's not what if, I hate you if you don't believe me, chill, okay? Just chill, because who cares if the world's flat? Is it really going to change anything? Is it really going to change anything that we didn't go to the moon? Is it really going to? Here's what's going to change things, okay? Dangerous bombs and shit, okay? So be safe out there, and I will see you when I see you.